US President Joe Biden's apparent call for Vladimir Putin's exit has prompted his administration to rush for course correction, while in Europe last week, Biden had said that the Russian president cannot remain in power. The US president has now clarified that the US does not have a policy of regime change in Russia. The remark came as Biden wound up a forceful speech capping his European visit. The trip aimed at presenting a determined front against Russia's invasion. At the close of 3 days of marathon diplomacy, Biden's comments in Poland also included calling Putin a butcher. It appeared to be a sharp escalation of the U.S. approach to Moscow of its invasion of Ukraine. Biden's comments reverberated instantly around the world. Putin's spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, denounced the remark. He emphasized that it's not up to the president of the U.S. and not up to the Americans to decide who will remain in power in Russia. French president warned such language could escalate a conflict in the U.S. and its NATO allies have sought to contain at all costs. The White House has sprung into action. It has clarified that Biden was not advocating regime change in Russia. On Sunday, Joe Biden was asked by reporters if the U.S. was trying to topple Putin. Listen in to his response.
Hurrah!
Mr. President, do you want Putin removed? Mr. President, were you calling for regime change?
No.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has also denied Biden calling for Putin's ouster. While in Jerusalem, Blinken said Biden's point was that Putin cannot be empowered by wage war. Blinken also stated that it's up to the Russians to choose their leader.
I think the President, the White House, made the point last night that, quite simply, President Putin cannot be empowered to wage war or engage in aggression against Ukraine or anyone else. As you know, and as you've heard us say repeatedly, we do not have a strategy of regime change in Russia or anywhere else for that matter. In this case, as in any case, it's up to the people of the country in question. It's up to the Russian people.
Russian demands for Ukrainian neutrality has been a key issue for Moscow at conflict negotiations. And now Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that the war-hit country is prepared to consider declaring neutrality. Zelensky said that as part of a peace deal with Russia, Ukraine is prepared to discuss adopting a neutral status. However, such a pact would have to be guaranteed by third parties and put to a referendum.
Гарантии безопасности и нейтралитет, безъядерный статус нашего государства, мы готовы на него идти. Это самый главный пункт. Это был первый принципиальный пункт для Российской Федерации, насколько я помню. И насколько мне помнится, что они из-за этого начали войну.
Zelensky made the statement while addressing independent Russian news media. He further added that Ukraine is ready to go for security guarantees, neutrality, as well as a non-nuclear status. However, he demanded that in order to find an agreement to end the conflict, Russian President Vladimir Putin would have to meet him face to face.
Поэтому этот пункт, пункт гарантии безопасности для Украины, а так как они говорят, это и для них, он понятен мне, его обсуждают, он глубоко проработан. Но меня там интересует, чтобы это не были, знаете, как еще одна бумажка а-ля Будапештский меморандум и так далее. Поэтому нас интересует, чтобы эта бумага превратилась в серьезный договор.
Earlier this month, the Kremlin had said Sweden and Austria offered models of neutrality and that Ukraine could adopt those models to help end Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Ukraine had rejected the proposal. It had said that only Kyiv could design a system that would be acceptable to Ukrainians. Under international law, neutrality means the obligation of a state not to interfere in military conflicts of third states, the obligation that is brought about by unilateral declaration or coercion. At the start of the crisis, Putin demanded that NATO guarantee non-membership for Ukraine. Negotiations have focused on Ukraine staying out of NATO, disarmament and security guarantees. While Ukraine is no longer insisting on NATO membership, Zelensky has refused to discuss the Russian demand for demilitarization of the country. After more than 4 weeks of conflict, Russia has failed to seize any major Ukrainian city. Russia's original hopes of sweeping across Ukraine undeterred, also appear to be fading. There is a renewed hope for talks as Russia's much larger military has been humbled by fierce Ukrainian resistance. Several previous rounds of peace talks have failed to halt the fighting. Fundamental disagreements remain about Kyiv's alignment with the West and Russia's occupation of Ukrainian territory. To end more than a month of fighting, the second in-person negotiation between the two sides will take place in Turkey today. Ahead of the peace talks in Istanbul, the Ukrainian president promised his countrymen to prioritize Ukraine's territorial integrity. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.